Hi, and Happy New Year, and welcome back to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Jay Handelman, arts editor and theater critic at the Sarasota Herald-Tribune, here with my colleague Dahlia. We've taken a few weeks off for the holidays, as many of you have, but we don't have time to take off now because there are so many events happening. We don't really have room to fit them in the newspaper and barely have time to cover them all. So
we're going to try.
We're going to try. So why don't you get us started with some music for this weekend?
Right. So first up, we have the new Sarasota Orchestra Masterworks performance featuring Beethoven and Brahms, and it's called Beethoven and Brahms.
What a clever name.
Yeah. I mean, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yep.
There are some cool highlights, though. Kay Scaglione is coming to guest conduct, and they're going to perform Beethoven's Coriolan Overture and Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3, which will be performed, the piano bit will be performed by Juliana Avdiva, who in 2010 became only the fourth woman to ever win the Chopin piano competition. She's very, very good. So you can come hear her perform with the Sarasota Orchestra. They're going to finish out the concert with Brahms' First Symphony, which he spent 14 years writing because he couldn't get over how awesome Beethoven was, the poor guy. But yeah, that's a really awesome concert lineup of some really great pieces.
I can't imagine spending 14 years doing one thing.
Yeah.
There must have been other things in between, I suppose. But
yeah. And
it's sad that there's only the fourth woman to win that contest. But so that will be impressive. There's a lot of theater starting this weekend. One of the shows is at Florida Studio Theater, which is not just starting a new show, it's starting a whole sort of relaunching their series of Stage 3 shows, which is edgy theater. It's a term that's kind of hard to define. No one's really sure exactly what that means, but plays that are not intended for the big mainstream audiences, they're going to have a little bit more limited appeal. FST has been doing Stage 3 shows for more than a decade, but the program has come and gone. So they're starting this new lineup of 3 shows with a play called Stalking the Boogeyman, which is about a journalist who sets out to find and confront the man who abused him when they were young boys. They were neighbors and friends, and so it's going to be a tense play, and it's going to be done in the Bounds Lab, which is the smallest space of the 5 theaters of Florida Studio Theater, and that is running through January 20th, so it might be worth checking out. There'll be 2 more shows coming during the winter season. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, well, my turn. We're going to talk about some art, and specifically glass art. There's this year's glass exhibit at the Bash Gallery at the Ringling College campus is going to feature works by David Salvador and his 2 sons. They're Italian glassmakers, and it seems like some really neat pieces. Barbara Bash herself is going to be doing some tours of the exhibit on Wednesdays that you can go follow around, hear a little bit more about it. And that runs from January 9th to March 25th, so you have lots of opportunities to go.
That's great. And so I guess kind of maybe unusual to have father and sons. It maybe not be. We were talking about this the other day, how common or uncommon that is, following traditions. Another show opening this week is Little Shop of Horrors, a real popular musical by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. It's their first big hit, and of course they're maybe best known for writing the scores to Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid and
there was a third
Aladdin.
One. Aladdin.
Yeah, I forgot. This is your thing.
Hey.
It's opening at the Manatee Performing Arts Center, the Manatee Players, and Craig Weiskerger is playing Seymour Krelborn, the sort of put-upon flower shop worker who discovers this plant that grows into a man-eating plant and brings him fame and fortune, a lot of disaster and a lot of comedy along the way, and it's a fun show, and that's running until January 22nd in Stone Hall at the Manatee Performing Arts Center.
Yep.
And you're going to be reviewing that.
I am going to be reviewing it. I'm excited to see it again. It's been a long time. So next up from me is the Minnesota Orchestra is going to come perform at the Van Wezel. They're being presented by the Sarasota Concert Association. They are going to perform Sibelius's Symphony No. 5, which they are supposedly famous for. They've done a recording of it that's very popular and well-liked. So they'll be playing that. They're also going to be playing Finnish composer, Kalevi Aho. 2012.
I hope that's right.
I think that's right.
I should have looked it up.
His work, Dahlia, which seems neat, and having a cellist perform the Dvorak cello concerto. Wow, that's a mouthful. But it's.
Want to try that again?
Yeah.
No. Don't have to.
You say it again 3 times. But no, it sounds like it'll be a really cool lineup too. So. And
that's on January 9th at the Van Wezel. At the Venice Theater, they're starting the new year off in getting in the habit with the musical Sister Act, which is a musical version of the movie that starred Whoopi Goldberg as a diva, a singer, disco singer who witnesses a murder and is put into a convent to hide out from the people who are looking for her. And in the course of things, she teaches them some streetwise ways, and they teach her a little bit about respect and faith and whatnot. And funny, that's a big weekend for Alan Menken, because he wrote the music to Sister Act. The lyrics that were by Glenn Slater, not by Howard Ashman, who had passed away by the time this show came along. So that's at Venice Theater, and it's starring Sarita Banks, who is one of the more exciting performers they get down there. It's running through February 5th, and so we're going to check that out next week. That opens on Tuesday the 10th.
I think that's all we got for you today, but it's certainly not the only things that are happening in town. Please check out heraldtribune.com/arts for some more coverage and more announcements on what's happening in town in the arts. And we will see you next week.
Take care.